where's the money, right? Where are the places that are going to make the most money, and where are places that are not going to suddenly put in rules and laws that say you can't do this anymore.
Hi, I'm Kim Tolson and I'm the traveling therapist. It's my passion to teach therapists how to navigate online private practices and multiple income streams so they can travel the world. I'm a digital nomad with a virtual insurance-based private therapy practice and a multi-six-figure coaching business. I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship and developing tools that can help therapists live an adventurous lifestyle. In this podcast, I will discuss my journey as a digital nomad. I'll chat with other traveling therapists and help you navigate the complexities of running an online insurance-based practice. I'm so glad to have you with me on this journey. Going in-network with insurance can be tough. For example, waiting a year to get credentialed in some cases. Filing all the right paperwork is time-consuming and tedious, and even after you're done, it can take months to get credentialed and start seeing clients. That's why Alma makes it easy and financially rewarding to accept insurance. When you join the insurance program, you can get credentialed within 45 days and access to enhanced reimbursement rates. They also handle all the paperwork from eligibility checks to claim submissions, and they guarantee payment within 2 weeks of each appointment. Once you've joined Alma's insurance program, you can see clients in your state of licensure regardless of where you're working from. This is particularly exciting for me as a traveling therapist, as I know it is probably for you too. You can literally be anywhere and still see your clients through Alma. Learn more about building a thriving private practice with Alma at helloalma.com/Kim. That's hello, ALMA.com/KYM to get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Traveling Therapist Podcast. I'm super excited to have Julie Killian here with us today. Julie is a therapist, but she's also found another way to bring income streams into her life and also allows her to travel more. So, Julie, I'd love to just start out with the question, how did you become a traveling therapist versus a traditional therapist?
Of course, that's a great question to start off with. Let's go back to 2016, where some of my remote work started. I was in private practice and I started working remotely on Fridays just to try it out, see how it goes. There weren't a lot of people, at least not a lot of people that I knew doing remote work in 2016, but I liked it. Continued doing that on Fridays for a few years. In 2019, I was having a baby. And I decided to, when I came back from maternity leave, to come back fully remote. Just for a little while until I was ready to go back into the office. I didn't know what life with a new baby would be like. So that was at the end of 2019. Well, of course, in 2020, we know what happened. COVID happened. And so I just never returned back to an office. I stayed remote. At that same time, my husband's job went fully remote. And at some point during 2020, we looked at each other and we said, if we're both working remotely, we could be anywhere.
Yes.
And that's when the wheels started turning there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I hated COVID, obviously, but it just opened up so many doors, even for my boyfriend. I mean, we moved down to Florida and he was, working in an actual job and he was having to drive there. I think it was like 2 weeks and he was like, this is terrible. The traffic in Florida is awful. And then COVID hit and he went remote. And then, the rest is history with that. But yeah. So tell us about this other thing you have going on. You have properties that you manage, short-term rentals. Let's talk about that process. I would love to just tell everybody how you're managing that and, the process, because for us, every time we live in Airbnb, so every time we go to a new place, we're like, we could totally buy a property here or there. And then we're like, I don't know, is it worth it? So we go back and forth with that. So I'm super excited to talk to you about, like, does it work? Is it a good idea? How do you like it? All of that good stuff.
Absolutely. All the questions. Yes.
Yeah.
So in 2020, when we had the realization that, hey, we could really be anywhere right now, we started looking into owning our own property somewhere. At that time, interest rates were lower than they are now. And Yeah, so it was easier financially, at least for us, to buy somewhere at that time. We started looking around, and within a pretty short period of time, we ended up with 3 rental properties. So
Wow.
yeah, we have 2 cabins in the Tennessee mountains in the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area. And then we also have a beach house in the Destin, Florida area. And we self-manage all of those, and we travel around to them and continue to work while we're there.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. That area in Destin is down there, that like panhandle of Florida. That is one of my favorite places. The water is gorgeous there.
Yeah.
So cool.
We would
So how did you
probably live there if it were a little bit bigger for our family. Yes.
yeah. Yeah, and I want to talk all about your family too. How did y'all pick those places? Was it just the property came up and it was like, oh, we love that area, or that seems like a good place to go? Like, how'd you pick the different places?
Yeah, that's usually one of the first questions that people ask. It's like, why there?
Yeah.
Fun fact, we had actually never been to Destin, Florida before we bought this place. Yeah, we had a realtor, and we picked it, we bought it. We'd never been down there before. But so that kind of goes into my answer, is those are vacation market. So those are the safest places to buy a short-term rental, because there are lots of rules, regulations, and things like that about renting in different cities. And so sticking with a vacation rental market that has been a vacation rental market for a long time and probably will continue to be is a safe bet. And that's how we chose those. The Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg area is huge with tourism and vacationers and all of that. And of course, Destin, Florida, the beautiful beaches down there also. And so that was our main decision maker, is where's the money, right? Where are the places that are going to make the most money, and where are places that are not going to suddenly put in rules and laws that say you can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we stayed in Gatlinburg too, briefly, and that's got to be great turnover for somebody that rents or does short-term rentals there, because I mean, I could just, the people, it was just thick in people, even in the middle of the summer.
Yes.
People there. That is a crazy tourist town.
Yes. Yes.
That's
I mean,
amazing.
everybody loves a little vacation too, like a cozy cabin.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff to do there, right? The mountains, the outdoorsy stuff, but there's a lot of more touristy things and shopping, all of that too. It's a great spot.
Oh my gosh. And bears. When we were there were definitely bears everywhere.
Yes, if you follow our Instagram accounts, you'll see a lot of times I'll post pictures when we see a little bear go across our camera. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're going to have to put your Instagram accounts on here so people can find out about your properties and follow your properties and stay there if they want to. Super exciting. So let's talk about just logistics. Like, how do you manage all of this stuff? How do you manage 3 properties? And I think you mentioned you have 2 children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a husband and all of that, and your job. Like, how do you manage all of this?
Yeah, and it can get a little bit crazy. Well, so my husband has normal full-time 9 to 5 type job. His schedule is a little bit flexible if he needs to be. He can take time off, that type of thing. But he's got like the normal 9 to 5 situation remotely going on. I work before 9 and after 5. So the children, that wherever we are with me during the time that he's working, and they're with him during the time that I'm working. And so, we just kind of like high five as we pass each other at 9 and 5. But it works really well, because then as we're traveling around, we don't have to like worry about childcare, like what are we going to do with the kids, that type of thing. But yes, we have 2 young children, 4 and 2. So they're pretty needy still at this point.
Yeah. So you pretty much see, I guess you see clients like what, 7, 8, 9 or something, and 10, 11, 12, or I mean 5, 6, 7, something like that. Like, how do you manage that?
Mm-hmm. I have slots 6, 7, and 8 so that I'm done by noon.
Nice.
And then I usually do 5:30, 6:30, and 7:30. Yeah, but I don't work on Fridays, so just Monday through Thursday. And I don't have all those slots filled. It's really a very part-time thing.
It's awesome. Yeah. Very cool. It's flexible because you have the other income streams, I guess,
Absolutely. Yes, and that takes time to manage too. So we got to do all of that in between the other work.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about things that, I'm sure that's a big question. Like, do you manage these properties all by yourself? Do you have a property management company that helps you? I'm sure that's like a big decision for want to call them Airbnb owners, but I guess your short-term rental owners, you probably have it listed, I'm guessing, on different places, Airbnb, VRBO, that sort of thing. And maybe we could talk about that too. But so you have them listed different places, but then how do you manage that? Do you have somebody doing it for you, or do you do it all by yourself?
So we self-manage the 3 properties. So we do it all ourselves, but we also have teams, right? Like we have a cleaning crew. We're not driving around cleaning these places ourselves, right? We have a cleaning crew, we have a handyman, that type of thing. But we are managing the guest experience and, the schedules, and we're managing the cleaning crew and the maintenance guys and all of that. So yes, we are on Airbnb and Vrbo, and we also do book direct. Then everybody gets to save on all the fees that way. But yes, for each property, we have those three ways of booking. And yeah, we do everything ourselves. You're always communicating. The guests are always communicating with us. And so it's kind of a 24/7 type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Randomly, if there like an emergency, like I think it just recently, maybe 2 days ago, we had a guest message, hey, can you get the fireplace to come on? And, that's a big amenity at a cabin. You want to have the fireplace. So
Yeah.
I was like going to bed. I was laying in bed, but I immediately messaged back and I'm like, well, first, like, have you tried to turn it on, right? And did you find the knob to turn it on? Like, yes. Okay. And I'm like, okay, we'll send somebody out, right? We made a phone call to the handyman. He was like, yeah, I can get somebody out there. And they went out there, fixed it, and then it's over. It's just lots of phone calls.
Yeah. That's good though. And it sounds like you've got people you vetted already in these areas and are reliable and can get right on it for you.
Yes. I tell people all the time, like we self-manage, but think about it this way. Even if I was renting the house next door, right? If they had a clogged toilet or something like that, I am not personally going to go over there and unclog their toilet. I'm going to make a phone call and someone else is going to do it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, except these properties are, they're not next door. They're a long way away. Like, Destin is 12 hours from us, but it's still just a phone call. It seems daunting, but it's the same thing if it were next door, really.
Yeah. And I guess between the two of you, y'all can kind of hand off like, oh, I can't deal with the plumber again. You deal with it this time or something like that.
Yes, absolutely. We will. So we both have the apps on our phone and we're logged into the same account. So like something will come through. And for example, like while I'm doing this, I can't be on my phone. And so my husband knows that. So anything that comes through, like during this time when he knows for sure I'm not available, he's just going to be handling. And, the cleaners at each property, we have text messages going like with all of us. So everybody knows what's going on. And sometimes we'll shoot a quick text like, hey, like I can't handle that right now. Or, can you grab that? Or I can call the cleaner. There's constant communication. But usually I'm the one dealing with the guests. So if somebody's messaging, that's the default is me. I'm handling all of that, the customer service type of stuff. And then he's handling a lot of the, the maintenance type stuff. Like, oh, we need to order, like recently we needed to order a new door. And so he's the one that's like getting the handyman to measure the door and he's ordering the new one and all of that.
Yeah, that's cool. So you've kind of found your own roles in the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah. So I think before we hit record, you had mentioned that you guys also vacation in these properties. So that's sort of a perk for you as well, I guess, to be able to go to these different places and stay.
Absolutely. Yes. So this year, so this year we spent a month down at our beach house. I think it was March, somewhere around there. Love spending time down there. And when we go there, everything's still the same, right? We're still high-vibing at 9 and 5. There's a little bit of a time difference, actually. And so, my 6 a.m. clients become 5 a.m. clients. And so, the 4:30 a.m. wake up times are a little
Oh my gosh.
You get used to it and it's worth it to be at the beach.
Managing a successful private practice can be challenging, even if you have all the skills and experience you need to support clients. Most training programs offer little to no guidance on running your own business. That's why Alma gives clinicians the tools they need to build a thriving private practice. When you join Alma, you can get credentialed with major insurance payers within 45 days, as well as guaranteed payment within 2 weeks of each session. You can also attract clients who are the right fit for your practice with a free profile in Alma's searchable directory. As you build your caseload, Alma also offers time-saving tools and administrative support, so you can spend less time on paperwork and more time delivering great care to your clients. Visit helloalma.com/Kim to download your free guide to identifying and connecting with clients who are the right fit for your practice. That's helloalma.com/KYM to get your guide.
But yeah, we do the same thing down there at the beach, and we do the same thing in mountains, no time difference there. But just find a room, sound machine, shut the door, and it works. It definitely works. Our most recent trip, we did like a Florida tour. So, and we both worked during it. We spent some time at our beach place, and then we went to St. George Island, just down the panhandle there. And then we went to Disney, took the kids to Disney, and then we went to Marathon, Florida, and stayed a little while there. It was about a month-long trip altogether. But yeah, so just stayed flexible and worked while we were doing all of that. And yeah, you have to get creative sometimes, but make it work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So would you say having these like three properties, because three, I mean, it seems like, oh my gosh, three properties. Would you say it's worth it to have that many? And just because y'all jumped into three at the same time, I guess, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely worth it. It's nice to have the additional income stream, right? And the equity and the properties. It is definitely worth it. It is a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
But actually it's fun. It's nice to get to go there. It's kind of like a hobby for us. We really enjoyed it.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm trying to think what else people would want to know about that. I think I mentioned to you before we started recording this episode that we live in Airbnbs, and even this place where we are right now, the guy was like, "Oh, it's awful having all these renters come in. They destroy everything." And that's kind of shocking when we hear that, because we're just like adults and professionals and we would never destroy somebody's property. But I'm just curious, like, what has that process been like for you? Is it pretty good? Do you have a lot of incidents of people like destroying things? Like, how does that go, just for people that might be thinking about this? Because I think I'd be scared about that, like a lot of property damage or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit terrifying to know like all these random people are staying in your home that you own. Right. I know, especially when you spend a lot of time there, like it really feels like these are our homes, and then we have these random people staying there. We've only had 2 times when things were really bad, and they were both parties. You're not allowed to have parties at our places, but people had parties and just destroyed the property, and I mean trashed them. Like you just walked in, you could tell there was a big party there, like, holes in the doors, like that type of thing. Hot tubs, disgusting. We're just I mean, yeah. But that's only happened twice. Yeah, but not fun. Somebody stole our coffee maker,
Oh my gosh. I just can't get over that. I mean, I just can't understand.
Yeah.
People just destroying other people's property like that. It just blows my mind. So, I mean, I guess you have like insurance, or what does insurance cover stuff like that? If it I guess it's renter's insurance or something. I don't even know what you'd have.
Well, so through Airbnb and Verbo, that's part of the draw of host and guest being on those platforms, is there are protections in place. Like, for example, with the door situation I explained, we were able to put in like a request for reimbursement, because that was far above and beyond like normal wear and tear. And Airbnb was able to reimburse us for the door, which is nice. Some of it is just like, hey, this is the cost of doing business type stuff, and we just let it slide, because sometimes it's easier that way. but yeah, there are things put in place where something like catastrophic happens, right? Like if somebody burns the place down. In Tennessee, we've had a couple fire scares actually, not because of guests, but just because of fires in the area. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. Same with a primary home, right? I mean, if it burns down, there's insurance and you rebuild, but obviously that would not be fun.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, that just seems terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to hear it hasn't happened much and that you're able to just keep it nice and have guests coming in and out and not have to worry about it too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most guests are really wonderful. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's so good. So shifting gears just a little bit, because, I know people are super curious about this. You have two children.
Yeah.
So what are their ages and how are you managing like that? Because people always want to know, like, are you going to put them in school? What are you going to do with that? So I'd love to just hear your thoughts on that, how you guys manage that right now.
Right. Yeah. That's a common question. People are like, wait a second, you have two kids. Like how, yeah, how does that fit into the equation? But yeah, they are 4 and 2. And so, I mean, we've been doing this for their whole lives, basically. And I stay home with them during the day. They've never been to daycare, never been to preschool, which allows for us the flexibility to travel anywhere and do what we want. And so we tag team. We're blessed with easy kids that they sleep in till like almost 9 every day, which is just wonderful. But yeah, we tag team that, and we may continue to homeschool so that we can have the freedom to do whatever we want. We're taking it day by day, not exactly sure what we want to do, but the freedom is amazing. There's so many opportunities. We can do whatever we want. So we're happy about
That's
that.
amazing. Oh, I just love that, because people really do get stuck on that, how I can't be a traveling therapist or I can't do what you guys are doing
Right.
because I have the kids. And they're like, okay, maybe when the kids are off to college, when they're 18, like 20 years from now, it's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, you don't have to wait that long. I mean, there's so many options now. You were telling me about one option you've discovered. I'd love if you share about that. I mean, it's super exciting.
Yeah, we have definitely looked into a company and organization called Boundless Life. They do month-long, 3-month-long, 6-month-long. I guess they do packages where you can travel abroad, and they provide housing and school for the kids and a community of remote workers. And we have definitely looked into that. Now that the kids are a little bit older, a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that we may do in the future. Mm-hmm.
It seems so cool to me. It's like this, like really structured, like guaranteed good internet, private
Yeah.
workspace.
Yeah.
The kids can go get schooling.
Yeah.
Parents
You're
have
not
time
like
with.
off on your own in a different country, right? Like there's a community, there's people to help you through the process. Yeah, that's definitely what we would want to do. Yeah.
That it's like a safe little pod almost to just go explore because I think they're like in Italy and Bali and Greece and I don't know where else, but I definitely think they have packages in different places. So, I mean, to me, if I had kids, that would just totally be the way I would go. I think it just seems really cool and like a safe way to experiment with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And dip our toes in the world schooling. And like there's homeschooling and there's world schooling. And so yeah, they go to school in Italy or wherever we are. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And there's tons of kids there too. It's like a community with children. So the socialization is still there for the kids. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. A great option.
Awesome. Yes. I love it. Gosh, I just love what you're doing. I love this model. It's something I've been super interested in. So if people want to talk to you about this, can they reach out to you or do you have a way to reach out to you if people want to have help with the short-term rental piece?
Yes, absolutely. I love talking about the short-term rentals. It's a hobby for me, and I think it's great. I love talking about it. Don't do any sort of formal consultation or anything like that, but I am happy to answer any questions that people have over Facebook or email or whatever it is. Yeah, I love talking about it. And so if anybody has any questions, you can follow along on our Instagram accounts. We have one for each property, or you can contact me directly and happy to talk about it.
What are the handles for the Instagram accounts? We'll put them in the show notes too, but just if you want to tell everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So the cabin, there's one that's at cabin on Summer Lane. There's a period in between every word. So at cabin on Summer Lane. The second cabin is Hideaway Hangout with a period in between the words. And the beach place is Driftwood Dunes, the period in between the words. And I'm sure
Cool.
we can post those somewhere too.
Yeah, we'll
But we have the Airbnb and Vrbo and direct booking links also.
So for the direct booking, do people just message you on Instagram? Is that how you get the direct bookings, or?
So we have a website. Yeah, we have a website for that. And it's more like a landing page and a way to take payment. But yeah, you click on the website and see the properties, and then you can message us. You get our phone number and you can message us with any questions. Yeah, but we do have a direct booking landing page so people can see the properties, so we can get things booked, and so we can take the payment. Yeah. And we have a rental agreement through that for.
Nice. That's great. Because I always wonder about that. There's places I'm like, I don't know. I mean, Airbnb, I feel like they put a lot of fees in and stuff, so I always wonder if direct booking is the better way to go. You don't have the Airbnb protection if you don't really get along with the owner as much, but also it seems like it might be more affordable. I don't know, though. That's just my thought about it.
Airbnb is great for host and guest because it does provide protection. And, though, if there's a problem, like Airbnb will help you, direct booking. If you know the people and that they're not like a scam or something like that, then yeah, direct booking is the way to go. You don't have to pay the fees. Can be, yeah.
What? I've thought about that. Definitely some of these places we've been before, like where we are now, this place is great. Probably we'll just contact him privately and see if we can come back sometime. But yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know that you can have privately too.
Most people find us through Airbnb or Vrbo. So we have like a little plaque on the door when you leave our property. It's like, next time, book direct, pay the fees. And we have a little like QR code that you can scan as you're walking out the door. So you don't have to pay all the fees next time if you like the place. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one last thing before we go, you had mentioned to me a good resource for people that want to learn about short-term rentals that helped you. Would you mind sharing that again?
Yes, absolutely. I am not all knowing about short-term rentals, so I can answer a lot of questions, but where we got most of our information about getting into the short-term rentals is through the short-term shop. We found Luke and Avery Carl. They were on an episode of the Bigger Pocket podcast. And that's how we learned about them. And they run the short-term shop and have lots of information. And it's like a community of people all trying to figure it out. So that's a good place to start for anybody who's interested.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. That's great. Yeah. Thanks for being a guest. I really appreciate you being here. And to everybody listening, we'll just put the Airbnb links in the show notes, and you can find Julie and rent her places. I'm so excited. I'm probably going to hit you up for the Destin one eventually. Sounds awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to the Traveling Therapist podcast. For show notes, links, and downloads, head over to thetravelingtherapist.com, where you'll be able to learn more about my journey, the courses I've created for you, and other exciting resources to make your dreams become a reality. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share with your traveling therapist friends, subscribe to the podcast, and if you love this episode, please leave a review.